In this video, we are going to solve problem B villagers from latest Codeforces round 1044. So in this problem, we are given that there are n villagers and none of these villagers are friend with each other. And B, ith villagers has a grumpiness of gi. And our goal is to make all of the villagers friend with each other. And for that, we can do some operation. So the operation is we can select any of the two villagers and give them some emeralds to share. We can give them maximum grumpiness between these two villages, the number of emeralds, and then we can decrease the grumpiness of both of the villagers by this. And in output, we have to print the minimum number of emeralds that we can give away to make all the villagers friends. So here we can say we are given the grumpiness of 4 villagers. And now let's say how we can make all the villagers each other friend. So let's make the first 2 villagers each other friends. So to make them friends, the number of emeralds that we need is the maximum grumpiness between these 2 villagers, and which is 9. And then the grumpiness of these 2 villagers will decrease by the minimum grumpiness of these 2 villages, which is 5. So fr- from the first villagers, the grumpiness will be become 9 minus 5, which is 4, and the second villager's grumpiness will become 5 minus 5, which is 0. And the same thing will happen with these 2 villagers. This will become 3, and the fourth villager's grumpiness will become 0. And so first and second villagers are now friends, and third and fourth villagers are also friends. And to make the second and fourth villagers friend, we don't need any emeralds because the maximum grumpiness of these two is 0. So total number of emeralds that we need is 13. So let's see how all these become friends. So at first we did make these 2 villagers friend and these 2 villagers friends, and at last these 2. So you can ask that how this and these villagers are friends. So they are not directly friends, but they are connected by a chain of mutual friendships. So as these 2 villagers are friends and these 2 villagers are also friends, we can say that the first and the fourth villagers are also friends. And as the third and fourth villagers are friends, so we can also say that the first and the third villagers are also friends. If I want to explain with another example, so this is the same grumpiness, but we arrange them in another way. So here the number of emeralds we will need is 9, and here it's 5. Then we'll decrease to this, and you can make this 2 again friends, and here the number of grumpiness is 14. And before we see that the number of emeralds is 13, and our goal is to minimize the number of grumpiness we can give. So the first example, we see the number of, we arrange the villagers according to its grumpiness in a sorted way. And here we didn't arrange them in a sorted way, so the number of emeralds here is greater than we saw in the first example here. Let's see another example. So in this example, there are seven villagers, and which is odd. For if the number of villagers is odd, we need to do something differently. So at first, as usual, like the previous example, we will sort the villagers according to their grumpiness in a decreasing way. So the grumpiness of these villagers will be maximum and these villagers minimum. At first, we will choose the first two villagers, then third and fourth, and fifth and sixth. And after we make the first two eh, villagers friends, the grumpiness of the villagers which had minimum grumpiness will become zero. So here this will become zero. Here let's say this has minimum grumpiness, so it will become zero and it will become zero. And we will not need any emeralds to make them friends because they all are zero. And then for the last element, if the number of villagers is odd, we'll make connection of with the last villagers and any villager that has a grumpiness of zero. So the total number of emeralds that we will need is the emeralds for the first six elements, for the first six villagers, and the grumpiness of the last villager. The code of it very simple. At first, we sort the villagers in a decreasing way, and in answer, we add the maximum grumpiness of two adjacent villagers, and here it should be I plus equal to 2 because from we are comparing these two villagers and these two villagers. For that, we need to increase I by 2. And if the number of villagers is odd, we will add the grumpiness of the last villagers. So here we, as I said, we will add the grumpiness of these villagers with the total emeralds that we need for the first n minus 1 villagers. And and last we just simply print the answer.